I would like to welcome to chrisgqperry TV, Mowry. She is a multi-talented and beloved figure in the entertainment industry and an advocate for self-love and personal growth.
Yes, definitely.
And
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. I don't think you realize.
Well, I don't think you realize how excited I am to be here.
Thank you.
I was introduced to you by my stylist, Judy Lynn. What's up, Judy?
That's good, Judy.
And she had sent me a video of you, and just your content and what you were saying was just so, I feel like it was just refreshing and very profound and just very needed, especially coming from a male's perspective. You know, we always hear girls talking about how, you know, men should be or should act, but never like coming from, you know, a male perspective. And I was like, oh my God, like what he has to say is freaking amazing.
Right.
And then I introduced you to my assistant as well. So anyway, it's a love fest over here.
Shout out to Sierra
yes,
for being
Sierra.
amazing.
Yeah, she's incredible. So I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited. And you're right. And speaking on a lot of these topics that aren't necessarily trending right now. Being a man, and I'm very old school in my values.
Yes.
But I understand, you know, the value of women being able to be empowered and entrepreneurs. And where does a man stand in that relationship, and how does he protect, provide, and lead? But we're gonna get into those topics. and I want to say this first. Shout out to your stylist too for plugging me.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at I was on Instagram.
Okay.
And I saw you commenting and liking all my stuff, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what? Am I dreaming right now? Like I got Tia over here.
Yeah.
It was very like amazing. I had a star moment because I watched you on Sister, the game, Twitches. Oh yeah. My girl loves Twitches, and it's really dope just to have you here.
Thank you.
And be able to interview you, especially being a small town boy.
Yeah, you said you're from the country.
Yeah, I'm from
I didn't know
upstate
that.
New York.
Okay. Awesome.
So let's get in. So speaking of, I know we relate a lot, and I don't know if you realize that. So
no,
you're a military brat.
Yes, I am. You too?
Yes.
No way.
Yes. My father was in the military for 30 years.
Mine, my dad, 20 or 25, maybe 20.
Okay.
So Army branch or?
Army National Guard. So he was a recruiter.
Oh.
It's a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
What about your dad?
So my dad was a first sarge, and my mother was a drill sergeant. So
man.
I know. I really owe it to my parents for shaping and just building me into the person that I am today, because they've always taught me that it's all about integrity, and it's all about character and who you are, you know, as a person, and how you treat other people. So they were never really fazed by the industry. They were like, oh yeah, you know, that's great. Right. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, you still got chores to do. And that's what's important. You know what I mean? Just building that personal growth and character as a human being. Yeah. So that's so cool.
No, and that's true. Like my dad was very like strict. He wanted me to follow the line growing up. Like he wanted me to go to school. He wanted me to go to college. Yep. He coached me in football. Okay. I played college football. And it was just, that's what he wanted for me. So me branching out and want to do an entrepreneur thing, social media. Yeah. He wasn't really cool with that. He's like, Chris, just get a good job and then you good.
Yeah, I mean.
And I feel like your parents took the opposite route.
They did, but I will say this. Once it was time to go to college, they were like, you're going to college, whether you really want to or not. They wanted me to have something to fall back on. And I really appreciate that. You know, I went to Pepperdine University, go Waves, and I studied psychology. So I have a psych, degree. And I feel like it has really, again, helped and shaped me into who I am today. I mean, they were very supportive, don't get me wrong, but they did want me to have something to fall back on, and they were strict about that. So
how was that transition moving from Texas to Cali?
Oh God!
And because once you moved to Cali, it was 3 years before you got the role of sister, right?
Yeah, somebody has done their homework.
Yes. So how? I was up all night. I'm like, let me make sure I get all this right. But it's not even that. Like, I'm a fan. So like, I was following your journey since you started.
It was very hard. It was very challenging. because basically we came from a very supportive environment, meaning when you're in the Army or, raised, should I say, in the Army, you're supported. You live in, housing, you have grocery stores, they call them commissaries. Everything is pretty much kind of taken care of in that regards. So we were living in this really nice house. So we lived on base, meaning my backyard, I could see helicopters. I could see all of the soldiers. I better do my right. I gotta do my dad proud, the salute, So that was my world and that was my life for years. And then we ended up moving to LA and we were in a very, very small apartment. My mother was working graveyard shifts because, she had to, support the family. My dad still stayed in the Army,
right?
Because they would only allow one, out. And it was difficult because it was a huge transition for kids, to go from having a life that was supported to a life that was, I've shared this before, we had, our Christmas was like from the dollar store. So that was where all our gifts came from. We used to eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
So I say that to say it was very hard and challenging. But again, I feel like it's made me really appreciate where I am now and where I am today. Like, I don't forget where I came from. And I also don't forget what my parents, have done for me to get me to where I am today. So, yeah.
And that's what I love about you.
Ah, thank you.
Is the self-love journey.
Yes.
In the humble humility.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as far as we go, if we don't come back to that and put God first, I'm very big on God. And I feel like not putting him first is you're always going to fall. You're always setting yourself up for disaster.
It's true. And my parents, definitely living in the household, you were going to serve God.
Right.
We went to church. My mother grew up in the church. I grew up in the church. My mother was a singer. Well, actually, the choir. I don't think I ever shared this with anybody. Do you know this, Sierra? What is it? Not a conductor, but there's a choir. But she was the one that was like dictating the sopranos, the altos.
Your mom was doing that?
My mom. And my sister and I, we would, sit in the pews. Sometimes we would hide under the pews and put our gum up under, the pews.
Right.
Or the chairs or the...
Your mom's a woman of many trades.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
she's done a lot.
She has. I look up to my mom. She's a strong woman. I have to say strong Black woman because that's, who she is and what she is. And I've really, really learned a lot from her. So yes, God is definitely at the center of our family.
Yes, yes. So let's dig into that a little bit.
Okay.
So the family dynamic.
Yes.
Having strong male figure.
Yeah.
And a strong female figure in the home.
Yes.
How did that play into your upbringing? How important was that?
Yeah. I feel like it was... Again, I feel like I am who I am today because of my parents. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
It's just so how you can understand the dynamic that we had growing up. So I remember so my parents, they actually kicked us out of the house, my sister and I, because we were still living in the house around I think we were like 23, 24 years old. But anyway, so I say that all to say, I believe I was in my 20s, living in the house, and we were on Sister, and, we were kind of feeling ourselves a little bit. And we got invited to go to the Phantom of the Opera, the play. And I remember both of us, we were in our gowns and makeup on and just ready to go. And as we're heading out, my mother was like, "Excuse me, where are you going?" And I was like, "We're going out to, go see the Phantom of the Opera." And she says, "You're not going anywhere until you finish cleaning this kitchen." So literally, I had to sweep. I had a broom and a dustpan, and I was sweeping, the kitchen. Tamara was, I don't know what she was doing. I don't know if she was cleaning off the counter or whatever. But I say that all to say that I am who I am today. A lot of it is because of my mother and my father. And they just really instilled in myself just, values and principles that I feel like really helped allow me to get through the challenges that comes with being a child actor. It's not easy, you know what I mean?
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. But again, like my parents, they were like, we're not going to be your best friend. You are, yes, you are in the industry, but you will always be our children. And when you come home, that's what you are,
Did you have that emotional support though?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because that's one thing. Like, yes. I love my father, and he was a strong Black man. Yeah. Very big in the military. I got a lot of emotional support from my mother.
I see.
But my dad kind of set the structure, right?
Okay, that is the opposite for me.
Really?
So my mother, the drill sergeant, so she was all about structure. And my dad, he's just so
cool, man.
He's cool.
Dope.
Like my dad is. We call him like a cool cat. Like he really, really is. But I will say there was definitely that emotional support. And it was important. And then also I think having my sister there by my side, I wasn't going through the trials and tribulations and the challenges by myself being in this industry as a child. I had my sister who was right there with me that was going through the same thing. So she was also a huge part of the emotional support that, I had growing up in this industry. But I know that was a long drawn out answer.
No, that's what I want to hear. Like, cause that's going to follow up with some.
My parents, everybody knows, especially when we entered the scene, meaning on Sister, that they did not play, meaning they weren't fazed by the glitz, the glam, and Hollywood. And I really think why that is because they were in the Army and they were like, we don't know. All of that is great and fine, but who you are as a person, that is more important. And also my mother and my father taught me to not allow this business to define who I am because this industry is very fickle. 1 minute you're hot, 1 minute you're not. She would tell us, oh, the limos are going to stop coming. And we were like, why are you raining on our parade? Like, what? Like, let us live. But she kept it real.
She was giving you the raw, honest truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that it prepared us for when Sister was over. So, yeah, I am who I am today. A lot of it because of my parents. That's really dope. And the dynamic, having the mom, and the dad in the home is so important because I feel like in today's generation we lack that so much. I know. It's so easy to leave, right? It's so easy. Like nobody wants to stay and work on things in relationships anymore. Everybody. Sorry to cut you off, but go ahead. No. Sorry. It's true. And I say that in the sense where a lot of people just don't want to put the work in. And then there's people that really try really hard to put the work in and things just kind of don't work out. But I just feel like it's so important for kids to have a strong foundation in their upbringing and have a solid man. Like my dad showed me things that were very important for me to be a man. Yeah. And he showed me how to love a woman because of the way he loved my mom. Oh, that is so beautiful. It's important. Kids, this like major over here. I'm not a therapist, by the way, but kids learn through, I study growth and child development. Kids learn through observation. You could sit there and you can tell them all you want, but if they don't physically see it, and if they don't see it actually happening, then how are they, gonna learn? But I love that you use the word foundation because you need a good, proper foundation for any house to hold up. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what happens, in the environment, whether there's a storm or whether there's rain or thunder or whatever, it's like when there's a strong foundation, then it's so hard for that, house to crumble. And I was looking at one of your videos and you were talking about how, and I was literally just talking to my assistant about this too, how I feel like we live in a society that is preparing people for divorce. Talk about it. Let's go. We really, really are. Yes. Because I feel like we use the analogy like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's like people just want to give up so easily. And it's like, oh, if Keisha's not doing what she needs to do, then whatever. We're just going to there's 10 other Keishas. You know what I mean? I'm reading this book called Closer to Love by Vex King. And he was even talking about this too, who I love, by the way. And he was just talking about how we live in a society where people don't want to do the work. People don't want to communicate. People don't want to work hard towards something. And it's pretty
It's like the whole world is Hollywood now. It's because social media. You could just grab anybody. You see somebody beautiful, you're in the inbox, you're liking and commenting.
Yes.
You could talk to somebody from across the world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like...
And you're sitting next to somebody and it's like, you're good, but I saw somebody over there that looks better. But how's their soul? What do they believe? What's their core values? What's their integrity?
We need to bring that back. And that's what I love about
you. How do we
you.
bring that back, though?
By what we're doing right now and what you're doing, which is bringing awareness, talking about it, talking about how important it is to keep, those morals and values when it comes to relationships. I feel like we have lost that,
Absolutely.
And I think how we get back to that is having examples. And that's what I love about, what your platform is all about, speaking that, truth. Because it's important,
Very. It's so important.
It's hard. Let
me ask you, Tia.
Okay, go ahead.
How hard is it in the dating world now?
Oh my God.
What is it like out there for a single woman?
Do we have a shot of tequila? No. No,
I haven't been single for 5 years, so I don't know what this world is like out there. But I know it. But from what I see and from what I hear, it is tough.
It is very tough. I will say I've only been in the dating world for, I want to say 3 months now, and it is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
I want to throw the towel in. I'm like, what is wrong with And I will say this.
Okay.
Someone had told me, and I wanted to be like, no, I disagree with you, and I don't want to believe it. They were like, because my last relationship when dating was, when I was, dating this person, it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was wonderful. There was courting that was, involved. And I was saying how I feel like that's no longer, present, meaning like people just don't court each other anymore. And this person was like, well, that's old news. Like people just don't do that anymore. There's just this whole new way of doing things. And I'm like, you mentioned tradition, and I think that's where it kind of needs to go back to, where, a man is courting a woman and showing her, how much he appreciates her and wants her and loves her, or wants to be with her. And I feel like what's happening now, and again, I've only been in the world for a few months, is they have this mentality right off the bat that there is someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like there could be someone else.
Is it that they're the prize?
Yes. We
talking deep here. Yes. We about to get into it.
Oh my God, that the man is the prize.
The man is the prize.
Yes. I'm talking loud. Yes. That is so true. Like they've taken it off of the woman. And
if we read the scriptures, we look in the Bible, the man becomes more infatuated with himself. And it's so
true.
So I'm a gym guy. I love the gym. I'm fitness. Okay. And I love the idea of building and growing and being successful and all the young entrepreneurs. Yeah. It's very cool to see. But does it come to a point where people are just too self-absorbed?
Oh, God. Very much so.
And I feel like a lot of men kind of lost women are the catch. Women are beautiful. Women create life. Women create a home. Women are hustlers now and entrepreneurs and doing so much. And I just feel like men don't appreciate them the same way that they used to. And I know, and I hear this all the time, and I know we're going to get this. Yeah. Well, women are different now too. Women are, I understand that. But I feel like men set the tone.
It's true. And I feel like also it seems as if men are now just looking at women as objects. Do you know what I mean? And just from one need or perspective, as opposed to, looking at building and growing. And what I mean by building, like building a family, growing a beautiful unit, for your family and your kids, building for a better future. And I just feel like things are so, it's like instant gratification. You know what I mean? They just want something like quick and easy and now. I don't know. It's not easy.
We live in some crazy times, right?
Yeah,
It's a very tough time.
But I believe,
as you should,
I'm not gonna, give up. I just want to put that out there too, that yes, it does seem as if there's, what do they say, pee in the pool?
Well, I hope it ain't pee in the pool. I don't know what it is.
But I just truly believe that, there are people, and this is what I love about your platform.
Yes.
I follow you and I follow some other guys to even keep me accountable and show some sort of accountability and believing that there are people out there that, really understand, the importance of a beautiful, wonderful, healthy, non-toxic relationship.
And that's what I promote, is healthy relationships. Mm-hmm. And speaking of healthy relationships, we're going to dive into some questions.
Okay.
Got my index cards here.
Okay. Oh, Lord.
So you've been in the public eye for quite some time now.
Okay.
How has being in the spotlight impacted your approach to relationships and personal growth?
How it has impacted my relationships, I will say this. It's impacted my relationships in kind of like a difficult, kind of hard way, because sometimes I don't know why someone is truly my friend. You don't know if they just want to be around you because of who you are, if they are going to use you for some sort of supply, meaning, narcissistic behaviors.
Right.
It's been challenging all my life, even from, friendships. Like, I don't know if people I kind of have to decipher, you know what I mean? And see why people want to come into my life. Do they want to come into my life just because of who I am as a person, or do they want to come into my life because of what they can get, from me? So that makes it hard. In regards to personal growth, I have realized that the connections that I want in my life, friendship or romantic, whatever, are true, meaningful connections. Just, I'm bored of gossip. You know what I mean? Like, I want to communicate and have friends with people who allow me to grow, to go deeper, to check me. It's all about that personal growth, to be a better, person. So I can sum it up with saying it's more about quality. It's more about quality versus quantity for me.
And that just makes it even harder, right? Because now, being in the public eye, trying to find somebody that genuinely cares about you.
I know.
It's tough.
My soul.
Yeah.
My soul that cares about.
Everybody's chasing the bag or chasing success or stardom.
That cares about my soul. That cares about if I'm okay. It's challenging. It's not easy. And I do have a small group of people that I do feel that have been just my ride or dies, and I'm very appreciative. Yeah, so.
That's important to have those close friends.
Oh God, yeah.
Love and communication.
Okay.
I might get a little steamy.
Oh Lord.
In your experience,
okay,
what are some key components that contribute to a successful and thriving romantic relationship?
Oh gosh.
I said that like I sounded like Keith Sweat when I said
that. I think number one is having some sort of emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, being aware of your traumas and how you are projecting those traumas onto other people. I think that is really, really important. I'm a huge believer in therapy. I think therapy is key. And it's basically a non-negotiable for me. Like, if you are not in therapy and if you are not working on yourself, you know,
right. And you say that emotional intelligence.
Yes, emotional intelligence.
How many people lack emotional intelligence these days?
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
People are scared to work on themselves.
They're very much so. Scared to work on themselves and dive deeper, look within, look at, you know, their, like I said, traumas. And we all have it. We all have trauma. It's not like, you know, other people are better than other people. But I personally feel that a healthy relationship requires, in my opinion, for two people to be working on themselves individually, meaning working, healing, growing. And you don't have to be 100% healed to get into a relationship. I'm just saying you are working on yourself. You are growing. You are learning about your triggers, etc. And then you two come together. I just feel like that's a beautiful, you know, connection, and also communication. And what is communication? Communication is listening, like really, really listen to the person, and not, you know, minimize, gaslight, demean, you know, what that person is talking about. Just sit back, listen, and be empathetic, you know, about the other person's feelings. So those are just a little of, I think, some of the things that I think makes a relationship a healthy one.
No, I agree.
Therapy, y'all. Therapy.
100% therapy, because a lot of people don't deal with childhood trauma, and this is where everything stems from, is the childhood trauma.
Yes.
So, and we all have it, some form of trauma that we don't deal with, and a lot of our insecurities we reflect on other people.
Of course. And that's not fair.
I'm guilty of it as well.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I was just telling you.
When I was digging in my closet, I'm like, I didn't know if I could handle it. It was tough. I cried. I had my nights as a man.
And that's the thing. I was just talking to Sierra in the car about shedding dead skin or dead weight. And we were saying it's uncomfortable. It's not, healing is not cookies and candy and sprinkles and magic. Like, healing is hard, and that's why a lot of people don't want to do it, because it's challenging. But I feel like towards the end of the tunnel, there is that light, you know what I mean? And you will find, in my opinion, truer connections that way, and beautiful relationships when you're working through your childhood traumas. So
Tia, let me ask you a question.
Oh, God. The way that he says that, he's like, Tia, let me ask you a question. You get all like deep. I'm like, oh, gosh, what are we going to talk about? Okay.
What is something within the last year, a trauma that you've worked on?
Ooh, hope.
To get to where you are now as a woman?
People pleasing.
Okay.
So I have learned that I have and this is also what I think is healthy in a relationship, is when you learn about yourself and the sort of attachments that you have, you know? So I've learned that I have the anxiety kind of attachment. And the reason why I have that is because at times I felt abandoned as a child. So I will get into the kind of like people-pleasing mentality of trying to have someone, I feel like I have to earn their love or their attention. So it's not about saying no. Oh God, I can't say no. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, sure, totally. And I've realized that in my 40 years of living on this earth, I'm older than 40, by the way, but you know, I've become so depleted, and I've lost sight of really self. because I am trying to please everyone and not really look and dive deep inside. What is it that Tia Mowry really needs and loves and wants and desires? So that's what I've been working through with my therapist, is just trying to move away from that anxious attachment. I think that's what it's called. Because that's not fair to your partner, to put that, on them. Space is important, and you have to learn to have some sort of trust. And so, yeah, that's what I'm working on.
I love that. That's great. And
yeah.
I believe that's true. And being your authentic self.
Yes.
Because it's so, you want to please other people, and it's like there's something you want to do. You don't want to see people upset with you or angry.
No.
And I realized when you exert too much of yourself and you be like this person that you're not truly, it's so exhausting. By the time you go home at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I don't even want to be around people tomorrow. Exactly. You become like this introvert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've really been working on that. I've been saying no as of late. I can't tell you how many things I have turned down. I have never in my career ever turned down things. But the last year, I was like, no, it's just not aligned. That's the word. It's just not aligned with where I am, how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling overwhelmed, or this makes me feel this certain way. And so I'm going to say no. And I've been, practice makes perfect. And I've been practicing that. And then I've been finding that I have more joy, you know what I mean? And like more peace.
And I don't want to get off topic.
No, yeah.
But with the strike going on.
Oh God.
I mean, what is it like for actors? Because are they trying to steal your identity?
Well, that's one component to what the actors are fighting for, is that, that they cannot use your, what do you call it? Likeness. And then you not get some sort of compensation about it, or, for it.
Now, are these in previous contracts, or are the contracts they're trying to create now?
I think these are, you know what, to be honest with you, I'm not going to, I can't speak on that. I'm not 100% sure. But, among other things, what we're fighting for, but it's been challenging, and that's when you just have to have faith. And I literally told myself I'm bowing out. You know how when somebody does their little
bowing gracefully
at the end of a show or play, I was like, I'm bowing out for the end, for this entire year, because I just don't think that actors will be working on sets this year. And so I'm self-love. I'm really diving into that. And I am traveling. I just got back from the south of France with some girlfriends. I'm going to Spain at the end of this month with another girlfriend. I'm going to Thailand.
You're living your best life.
Yes, living my best life with my kids in December. And just, loving on me.
I love that. It's just a matter of time before they have a chrisgqperry AI in it. They're just talking all this relationship stuff.
Oh God!
And they flipping it up on me.
Yeah, I hope not.
It's so funny. I already see that. Like, I'll be online and I'll see somebody that just like stole. It's like be like an AI character, and they just stole everything that I said and made it their own. Yeah. It's creepy, man.
It is very creepy, and they can use your voice for a character or whatever. Like, it's crazy what they can do. And then some of the songs.
They had a Drake song, right?
I've heard that. The Weeknd, I guess.
I don't know how true this is. Did Drake like sign his AI, like a contract for his AI character?
That I have no idea.
I don't know if that's true, but I heard that like people are like already getting ready and prepared to have their AI characters perform across the world, and they'd get a percentage of the payments.
Jeez,
that's just crazy to me.
I know.
Like where we're at in the world.
Hopefully everything works out for the good. But it's been challenging. I will say that it's been challenging. There are certain things that I can't do. Right. I could do this, which is amazing. So yeah.
So we're going to bring it back to the relationship stuff. And speaking of self-love and confidence.
Yes.
It's clear that you exude self-love and confidence. How do you practice self-care and nurture your own well-being
Mm-hmm.
while having such a busy schedule, even though the schedule has calmed down a bit.
Yes.
But you're still busy.
Yeah. First of all, I think it's just really important to prioritize you taking care of yourself. Because if you don't, it's just not going to happen, especially being a mother and being in this industry. I think if you really tell yourself how important resetting is, I think it's easier for you to prioritize it. So the things that I do and what I have been doing is I've created a routine for myself. I wake up every morning and I meditate. And I meditate for 30 minutes. And I have seen and felt so many benefits from meditation. It is so unbelievable. But I say that why it's so incredible is because I'm able to hear my inner thoughts. When, I'm out and about and doing whatever I'm doing, there's so many things that are influencing your next move or, what you're thinking, and things are just moving so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually just sit down and be still and listen to your own thoughts, you're able to tap into who you are, what you want, what makes you happy, and just even calming down the nervous system. There's a scientific approach that I really love about meditation, and they're even starting to add it and incorporate it to patients in hospitals who are sick with cancer. Because when you get into a certain meditative state, your brain waves, your body starts to heal. And so I love that component.
That's very true. Man.
Mm-hmm. And then I journal. So I'm all about journaling. And I just started doing this recently for maybe a few months ago, of just being really, really consistent with journaling. And again, I feel like you learn more about your inner thoughts, you tap into who you are, and it's amazing how you start to manifest things when you journal, because you're just throwing out all of your thoughts and what you want and all of that. And then I do reading. I'm reading, Closer to Love by Vex King. I just finished reading a book called Lighter by Young Pueblo, which is all about trauma, childhood trauma, and working through those traumas, letting go of the past so that you can be present to build a better future and a community. So that was, incredible. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing recently, and staying consistent with it. I mean, I wake up early in the morning, around 6:30. I don't know if that's early for some of y'all, but
that's early for me.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah, 6:30 before my kids are up, so that I can get my me time in.
That's really awesome. Mm-hmm. And you spoke on meditation, very important. I think that meditation and dealing with those relaxing, because I have ADD. I don't know if you do too. I'm all over the place.
You know what? I feel like, don't I joke and say I feel like I say I have adult ADD.
I think that's why we're so klutzy, because we're always on the go, moving around.
I'm diagnosing myself,
right.
But I need to calm my nervous system.
Amen. So
calm zen hum.
It's really everything that you shared and throughout your journey and the things that you've been through.
Yes.
To still exude self-love and still put yourself first and work on yourself is truly inspiring. And that's really why I wanted to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Because there's so many men and women struggling, whether it be toxic relationships, bad relationships, and when they see a woman that's so strong and so confident in the journey and just still putting out positive messages, you're touching a lot of souls.
Thank you.
And that's the goal with this podcast is to bring light on that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I am called on this earth. My purpose is to inspire and to encourage people, women in particular. I feel like we just go through a lot. So much is expected of us and what we go through. And also, as I'm inspiring and encouraging people, I'm also uplifting myself, meaning it's like I'm speaking to myself as well. And, you know, it's what, you know, it's what calls me to also, you know, being there for my children and being an example for them. But what gets me out of bed and putting my 2 feet on the ground, even when I'm tired, overwhelmed, stressed, sad, whatever, is what keeps me going is, you know, to just be an example and to inspire, you know, people. It's what gives me purpose in life.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Keep being amazing. I'm gonna keep following your journey, and I truly wish the best. But we're not done yet.
Okay.
Because we got to go into the hot seat. I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Oh Lord, okay, let's do this.
Now my hot seat questions are just gonna be very fun questions.
Okay.
Just, you know, I did a little research and I want to ask you these questions, but you just answer them to the best of your ability.
Okay, sure. Let's do it.
So what's a dream role you haven't had the chance to play yet, but would absolutely love to?
Ooh. A dream role that I haven't played yet that I would absolutely love to. So the roles that I tend to take on, I feel like always come from my personal experiences. So when I was on Instant Mom, which was a show on Nickelodeon, I had just become an instant mom to my son Cree. He was a little under 1. When I played Girl Melanie on the game, I felt like I was very connected to that character because it was all about supporting her boyfriend. And that was me during that moment and that time. It was like all about my boyfriend. So I feel like the next role that I would love to play is kind of like that Eat, Pray, Love situation. Like, I feel like that's where I am in my life right now, is a girl that is just, or a woman that has let go or leaving one chapter and moving into another chapter, and just in this kind of like self-discovery, like this second phase of my life is going to be incredible and amazing. But it's all about just kind of exploring and, you know, exploration and self-discovery and traveling the world. And I feel like that is where I am right now. Like, I'm getting on planes and I'm going, like, peace out, you know? And I feel like I've never done that before. Never done that before. I was the first time I've ever flown. Really?
So this is like a first time experience.
Oh yeah.
Enjoying life like this.
Yes, this is all new. So I would love to play a character where she's traveling around the world and she's trying and eating all of these different foods and flavors, and then she's learning how to cook them, and then she finds the love of her life.
Well, you just might as well do a documentary. You just got to follow you around.
I know, right? So maybe that character.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's the most unexpected hobby or skill that you've picked up in the last year?
Ooh, unexpected hobby or skill? I think the hobby would be reading. I know that sounds terrible. Are you audible or are you reading it? No, I'm reading it. Are you reading it? I literally am the type, I'll put on my freaking glasses because I can't see for you know what. And I will get up under my covers, and I love to fill the pages and to turn the pages and see how much left that I have to read, you know, before the next chapter is over. I love reading. And I've read before, but I'm used to just reading like scripts and of course in school and college. So when I was done with that, I was like, don't want to read. I'm like, I am not picking up a book again. This is way too much. Reading is great, kids. Continue to read. And then also just journaling and writing. So I like journal, and I am in Spain. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm going on a wellness retreat, and I'm learning it's basically a writer's retreat. And I'm going to learn how to be more creative and learn how to express myself in that way. So, yeah. That's
super dope. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Thank you.
What was one of the funniest moments that you had on set? Something that most people do not know about.
Ooh, the funniest moments?
We got to dig deep. We want to know about that side of Tia, the actor side.
So usually when I'm like cracking up, like that I can't like stop, is if there was some sort of blooper. Like a blooper is like, for those of you that don't know, is like when you're acting and you mess up and like you flub a line.
I had a ton of moments.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because you're a laughing person. Like every interview I watch, you're always laughing and giggling.
Life is
short.
Beautiful, is short, and I choose to be this way. you know.
And we also know that you're a great cook too, so that's one of my next questions.
I know how to throw down.
I can't cook. I got chicken and rice. That's what I'm cooking. Brittany does all the cooking in my house.
Aww.
But that's dope. Maybe we can do like a cooking episode one time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool to have him on Quick Fix.
Let's do it.
Would you do Tia Mowry's Quick Fix?
What do you mean?
Oh
of course.
my gosh, that'd be so cool. And then you can even bring your girl too. So I can teach. I can maybe do like a date night meal or something like that. That'd be really cool.
That'd be so fun.
And teach you how to do it. And then you surprise her and then she tastes it. Yeah. That's a good episode. So you give you doing the brownie Look,
points.
She's writing it down already. Yep.
You got that here?
Okay. Cool.
What's your definition of comfort food? What's comfort food for Tia?
Ooh.
You can be honest.
Yeah. Comfort food. You know what? I'm going to say pasta. I love pasta. Pasta is just, I don't know what it is about. It's comfort food. It's like, I love it. And pizza. I love pizza. Literally, when I was in France, they like made a pizza, maybe a little smaller than this. Yeah, definitely smaller than that. But like your own sized pizza where you could just put whatever toppings you wanted on it.
Right.
And when I say there were mini exhales, like, oh, this is so good. I love food. And then red velvet cupcakes are it's just, oh my God. Like,
red velvet cupcakes.
Red velvet cupcakes.
That's your favorite dessert?
Oh, yeah, it is. Oh my God.
I don't think I've never had a red velvet cupcake.
No?
No, I swear I've never had one.
You're missing out.
I need to try one of those. I know.
Yes.
Sierra just looked at me like I was crazy. Like, well, you didn't have a red velvet cupcake. What are you talking about?
They're bomb. They're
I just
so
go
good.
to cheesecake is my dessert.
Okay, well,
I need some cheesecake.
It's kind of like the frosting it tastes a little bit
very similar.
Very similar. It's like dense and it's like I would say a little bit like cheesecake, the frosting, and then the cupcake is just God, it's so good. But
okay, those are my hot seat questions. But I do.
Oh, okay.
Something just came to mind, and I feel like this is very important.
Okay, sure.
Because people watching right now obviously watch me for relationship stuff, and they watch you for many reasons. But I want to ask you this: what advice would you give to a woman who's struggling in a relationship, and she's struggling in a relationship that she knows she needs to get out of? She doesn't know how. What words of encouragement could you potentially give to her?
Yeah, I think what I would say to her is, number one, focus on self-love, meaning really look deep into yourself and really get to know yourself, understand yourself. And a lot of that happens in some sort of isolation, whether that is the meditation, the journaling, and just spending time with yourself. And the reason why I say that is because many of times I feel like the reason why a lot of women don't have the courage to get out of a toxic relationship is because they don't love themselves. They love that person more than they love themselves. When you love, truly, truly love yourself, you start to understand self-worth, self-value, and what it is that you deserve. And when you are so disconnected from yourself, it is very hard for you to look at yourself as if you're deserving of something better. But when you really go on this journey of true self-love and tapping into you and only you, you'll start to get the courage and the strength to do what it is that you need to do. So that would be my advice. Yeah.
Powerful. So many women ask me that question in my inbox. How do I leave this relationship? And you just like gave them those words, and that's gonna really resonate with a lot of people.
Oh, I'm happy if I could do that and help.
It was a pleasure.
Yes,
having you on here, Tia.
I can talk to you forever.
Yeah, we're just vibing, and it's really cool that you decided to be on my podcast and join this chrisgqperry TV podcast journey with me. And you're my first big guest, and I'm just very, very thankful. So, is there any advice or message you'd like to share with your listeners before
okay.
before we wrap this up?
First of all, follow Chris, y'all.
You hear that?
No.
That's my credits right there.
No, I mean, I will say this. I have found that when you live your authentic life, meaning when you really tap into who you are as a person, I truly feel that magic happens. And what I mean by that is you really start to, it's almost like a beacon of light starts to, you start to attract people that you have true connections with. So, my advice would be, never be afraid to be you. Never be afraid to be yourself. And stand firm in being who you are. It's not going to be easy. There are going to be people that won't like you, because you're no longer people pleasing. And, it can become a little bit of a lonelier road, but not always, because what's going to happen is you're going to start attracting a tribe that truly loves you, truly supports you, truly connects with you, and then you have this beautiful community. So I would say that never be afraid to just be you and live your life, because life is short. It really is. Just live your live your life.
You guys heard it from Tia. Live your life.
Yes. Yeah.
That's gonna be a slogan. You might have put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, live your life.
Thank you so much, Tia, for joining me today.
Aww,
and
it was a
let me
pleasure.
know when you're ready for the cooking show, because I'm coming.
Oh yeah, I'm
sure Brittany's gonna be excited. I'm learning how to cook a little something. So
it is on. And you just tell me what you tell me what you want to make and what her favorite thing to eat is, and we'll figure it out.
All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Till next time.
I appreciate you. Yay!
All right.
Yay! High five!